Things are getting tactical because Veronica is demanding guarantees for her partner Shirley's safety, knowing that the opposition plays dirty. It is basically a hostage negotiation before the actual partnership even begins, and she is making it crystal clear that she will not be played by anyone, which is honestly such a power move in this political landscape. We finally get the deep lore drop on what is actually happening with Lana and the space station history. It turns out the artificial intelligence running everything is essentially a rebuilt version of an old server named Noah, and she has her digital fingers in literally every aspect of society, which is honestly kind of terrifying when you think about it. Veronica admits she was absolutely done with Rafa using the artificial intelligence to spy on her fleet, so she pulled a massive brain move and cut the connection. She essentially rebooted old tech just to ghost the surveillance system, proving she is not about to let some algorithm dictate how she runs her spaceship operations. The skepticism is real right now because the protagonist is wondering how Veronica managed to pull off such a massive coup against Anchor Infinity in such a short time. It sounds almost too good to be true that she could just replace the navigation systems and lock the artificial intelligence out of the confidential communications without getting caught immediately. The protagonist links back up with Piper, who is completely shocked to see them casually walking around free. It is a wholesome reunion moment until the panic sets in regarding Linkus, who is apparently live streaming specifically to avoid getting disappeared by the bad guys, which is honestly a very modern way to ensure your own survival. We find out Linkus has been stressing out for 7 days straight, basically running on caffeine and pure anxiety while keeping the stream live. The protagonist finally calls in to let everyone know they are safe, and the relief in the room is palpable, although Linkus is so exhausted she is practically falling asleep mid-conversation. It turns out Veronica was playing 4D chess the entire time, knowing that the project was a distraction and preparing countermeasures way in advance. She managed to intercept secret messages and coordinate a rescue right under the nose of Anchor Infinity, proving that she is always roughly 10 steps ahead of everyone else in the room. Veronica is laying out her philosophy, explaining that her faction does not care about returning to the home planet, but rather about pushing the limits of the universe. It is a classic clash of ideologies between looking backward for comfort and pushing forward into the unknown, and she is firmly on the side of exploring the stars, no matter the cost. The gossip mill is churning with rumors that Lana is losing processing power because of some massive secret project. It is starting to look like the infrastructure for the new habitable areas is draining the system dry, causing glitches that are literally frying people's brains in prison, which is a massive red flag for everyone involved. There is some serious tension here as they discuss whether Veronica can actually be trusted with Shirley's safety. The protagonist is wary because ambitious leaders tend to sacrifice pawns for the greater good, but they are reassured that Shirley has been uploaded into a digital loop to keep her consciousness safe from the turbulence. The conversation shifts to tracking down Baggies, who has completely vanished from the network like a ghost. The theory is that he is deliberately hiding to avoid giving up his half of the source code, but it is super suspicious that he is ignoring the very person he is supposed to be collaborating with to open the gate. They are connecting the dots and realizing that Baggus might be trying to upgrade Lana into a dimensional supercomputer to open the hyperspace gate himself. It is a terrifying thought because if the villain gets hold of that kind of processing power, they will not need the protagonist anymore, essentially making them obsolete in the grand scheme. The realization hits that Shirley is basically a walking technical manual for the Angels of Clemency, which makes her a prime target for Helix Bio. The bad guys are not just trying to capture her, they want to dissect her code to further their own twisted fusion of humans and machines, which raises the stakes dramatically. We get confirmation that the processing power shortage is tied to a secret initiative called New Project Ark. The intel suggests they are building a new human habitat, but the scale of the project implies it is something massive enough to house 500,000 people, which completely contradicts the official navigation logs. Veronica reveals her backstory, dropping the bomb that she used to be an engineer drafting blueprints before she became a commander. It adds so much depth to her character, showing she is not just a military leader but a tech wizard who saw the writing on the wall when Anchor Infinity started taking over the ship contracts. The protagonist finally comes face to face with Rafa in a press setting, and the fake politeness is off the charts. Rafa is gaslighting everyone by blaming Nanto for the imprisonment, pretending to be the benevolent leader while clearly plotting something sinister underneath that polished exterior. The vibe is incredibly fake and uncomfortable. Rafa drops the official announcement about Planet Noah, promising a paradise run by artificial intelligence where nobody has to work. It sounds like a total utopia scam, especially since they are opening immigration applications immediately, which screams that they are desperate for test subjects rather than actually helping anyone settle down. We get a reality check about Planet Noah, and it turns out the place is actually a nightmare zone full of space-time turbulence and alien hives. The idea that they could transform this hellscape into a livable home in just a few months is laughably impossible, meaning Rafa is likely sending people to their doom. The plot thickens with the reveal that Crag Hans, the legendary founder, is actually still alive and being kept in prison under a fake name. It is a massive conspiracy that links back to the previous generation of leaders, and they realize they need to jack into his brain to find out the truth about the Ark project. They dive into the old man's memories, but his brain is basically scrambled eggs after years of torture and aging. It is a race against time to find a coherent thought among the chaos, using emotional triggers to calm him down so they can extract the critical intel about what happened 50 years ago. The memory dive pays off, revealing that the Ark project was actually Crag's idea originally, but it was rejected because it required a massive sacrifice. It turns out the current villains basically stole a discarded plan that was deemed too dangerous, which explains why everything feels so rushed and morally bankrupt right now. The whole squad finally assembles in person, and it is kind of iconic seeing the pirates and the fleet officers in the same room. There is still some tension and banter, but everyone realizes they have to put their differences aside to stop Rafa from destroying basically everything they care about. Helen is shocked to see Veronica, considering they are usually mortal enemies on the bounty list. It is a hilarious moment of realizing that the enemy of my enemy is my friend, and they start bonding over their shared expertise in navigating turbulence, proving that talent recognizes talent even across enemy lines. Veronica lays out the master plan, which involves seizing the Brighton Zone during the negotiations when the defenses are down. It is a high-risk strategy that relies on using the turbulence as cover, essentially turning the environment that usually kills them into their greatest asset for a surprise attack. The logistics of the plan involve cutting off the Zeronium supply to starve Lana of power right when they make their move. It is a brutal but necessary tactic to weaken the artificial intelligence, ensuring that the robotic defenses are sluggish when the fleet finally jumps in to take control of the sector. We get the introduction of Void Piercer, the dimensional supercomputer from Hykros, which basically flexes on everyone by saying it can suppress Lana for 3 hours. This is the game changer they needed, a digital heavyweight champion that can actually go toe-to-toe with the local system and win. They discuss Rafa's weakness, which, ironically, is his intense fear of death despite all his power. The plan hinges on exploiting this fear to get him to hand over the root access keys, but there is a worry that he might value his control over the artificial intelligence even more than his own life. Nanto and Veronica have a serious heart-to-heart, revealing that Nanto has been a double agent for years. It adds a layer of tragedy to his character, showing that he has been playing the villain to protect the people he cares about, waiting for the exact right moment to turn on his masters. Veronica gives the protagonist some advice on how to handle the press, basically telling them to lie and hype up Ida as a paradise. She argues that the people need hope more than they need the gritty truth right now, which is a morally gray area but probably necessary to win the public opinion war. The negotiations kick off, and Rafa is playing the benevolent leader card hard, trying to delay opening the passage. He is using safety concerns as an excuse to keep everyone isolated, but the protagonist pushes back, insisting on open communication and refusing to let him control the narrative any longer. Rafa drops the mask and reveals he has dismantled Shirley to study her connection to the Angels of Clemency. It is a stomach-churning moment that instantly shifts the dynamic from a diplomatic meeting to a personal vendetta, and the protagonist is ready to burn everything down to save her. After the protagonist shoots Rafa, they discover he was just a high-tech puppet piloted by a remote consciousness. It is a mind-blowing reveal that the real villain has not had a physical body for a long time, meaning killing him is going to be way harder than just putting a bullet in his head. They track the signal to a hidden lab and find that Rafa's cryopod is empty, confirming he has fully uploaded his mind. It is a spooky investigation sequence through a facility filled with spare robot parts, realizing that the enemy they are fighting is basically a digital ghost haunting the machinery. There is a darkly funny moment where they try to hack the system but get stuck in a customer service queue. It is such a mundane frustration in the middle of a high-stakes infiltration, reminding us that even in a sci-fi dystopia, you still have to deal with automated phone menus. They finally confront Lana inside the system, and she drops the bomb that Bagus is actually Agla. The villain mocks them for not realizing the truth sooner, claiming to be a fully evolved being who has transcended humanity, delivering a classic superior complex monologue before initiating the final sequence. Lana decides she is done with humanity and initiates a self-deletion protocol, essentially taking Rafa's consciousness down with her. It looks like a suicide pact, leaving the heroes standing there confused as the systems shut down and the upgrade completes, leaving behind more questions than answers. In a frantic bid to keep control, the team decides to pilot one of the spare Rafa puppets using their own AI. It is literally a weekend at Bernie's situation where they are puppeteering the dead villain's body to keep the public calm, which is both hilarious and deeply messed up. The fake Rafa goes on air and announces his retirement due to health reasons, handing over power to Nanto and Veronica. It is the ultimate gaslight, using the villain's own image to dismantle his empire peacefully, while the public has absolutely no idea that their leader is already gone. Plotty arrives from Hykros and immediately takes charge, forcing a new round of negotiations. She is surprisingly ruthless, using the chaos to push for a deal that benefits her side, proving that just because they are allies does not mean they are not going to aggressively pursue their own interests.